on Long Way Up, Charlie and Ewan proved that live wire and electric motorcycles can be a reliable form of alternate means of transportation. Ultimately, the hurdle to overcome, right, is range. We had to make sure that not only were they riding the distance that they needed on a daily basis, but also that when we were recharging, we were doing it as fast and as easy as possible to get them right back out.
This stretched our comfort zone in engineering about how do we solve this problem. How are we going to enable them to do this type of trip where they're in South America, get from point A to point B and still charge this bike and ride efficiently?
Let's do it. Let's do it.
Really, there's a couple big facets. One is how you ride, your behaviors and how you use the throttle.
We did provide them some input on how to elongate the range based on their riding styles. Hard throttle demands. You want to basically limit that as much as possible. Try to keep the ride mode in eco, try to roll off the throttle, reach a certain mile per hour.
We have regenerative braking, which puts energy back into the battery.
Anytime you guys are going down a hill, try to activate the regenerative braking as often as possible.
And then there's software in the battery itself, where we change the limits of how much energy we're using in the battery.
2 guys lost in South America.
Oh, uh-oh. The power's just gone.
The charging was the first thing that comes to everybody's mind, is how are you going to do that? So there were all kinds of ideas thrown around.
Here in America, everything's 120, 60 hertz. Now we're going into these spaces where you have different wall outlets, you have different electrical architectures.
Rivian and their partners NL put in this phase 2 charging stations like every 150 miles, 100 miles, because otherwise we couldn't have done the trip with the Rivians, So we had these charging stations along the route.
It was really, really good for us. We could plug in overnight or over lunchtime.
If we veered off the route and the cars went one way, we went another. We would rely just on the generosity of strangers, and we'd plug in restaurants and hostels and hotels and whatever, which we did a lot.
I was going to see if the bike's charged. 99%.
Whoa! We had Charlie and Ewan come to Wisconsin. The final sign-off was getting on the bikes and then going to ride.
We came to Milwaukee and we came to your testing facility there and saw our bikes, the blue and the orange.
You put the front end of the Pan American on it, you jacked up the back, you put panniers on the back, changed the seat, higher handlebars. I mean, a lot of work.
So the only thing we're missing right now is the brush guard. Those will be in on tomorrow or Thursday. So we'll add those. Those will be on the bikes when you guys arrive in Argentina.
We were just like kids in a candy store, like looking at these 2 bikes coming out. I loved being there and meeting the people and all the talented people who were involved in creating our trip bikes, sort of in their spare time. We learned, that people had gone out of their way to just do it after work, and we were so impressed.
Oh my God, Charlie!
We are so there. It's
oh my
unbelievable.
God, it's absolutely perfect. That's it, brilliant.
It's a real relief. The whole thing is just awesome.
All we need to do now is to get them to South America, get going. The bikes just were so lovely to ride, It was so beautifully set up. Yeah, next time we see them, we'll be in South America, I guess. We'll be way down there.
Argentina.
Yeah. Yeah.
God.
In the snowpack.
Oh my God.